What's up, friends? So we are back with another video today, and today I want to talk about our wireless microphone system, really not wireless microphone system, and what we use to record audio on wedding days, and why we absolutely, positively never, ever use wireless audio on a wedding day. I'll explain. I'm gonna break that down into three areas here. Number one, which is time saving. Does running wireless audio save you any time in the edit? Number two is going to be backup audio and losing a backup audio track. I'll get in there in a minute. And number three, which is the most important and the number one reason why, is working with DJs or other sound guys on event days. And that one, whole lot of drama on that end. So 1, 2, and 3, let's jump right into it. Number one is, does running wireless audio save you time in the edit? The answer for me, abso-freaking-lutely not. So typically you would think, oh, if I've got two transmitters on, say, a groom and a bride, or a groom and an officiant, and I've got the receiver plugged into the camera, cool, I've already got all that audio directly baked into my camera file. That'll save me so much time in the edit. It really won't, because running ceremony audio especially, chances are, actually 100% of the time, we've got two other cameras. So we have typically 3 cameras with 2 sources of audio, plus a backup audio plugged into a DJ's setup. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sources between audio and video that all have to get synced up in post anyways. And so congratulations, if you're sending your wireless audio to one camera, you haven't saved yourself any time, because you still have to sync up those other 5 options to your camera. So when it comes to time saving, it doesn't happen on wedding days. It doesn't happen at live events. We're running multiple cameras. We're doing multiple things. Regardless, you got to sync it all in post anyways. So you might as well just record straight to the packs and move on with that. Number two, and that's a small reason. Again, if you're doing small social media work or small, simple, just direct to camera stuff, it checks out. But also, syncing your audio in post it's too easy. So there's no reason to stress about that. Number two, and this is probably a little bit more up there in the importance realm, but not quite as important as number 3, because we're going to get to that in just a minute. Number 2 is when you lose a backup audio recording. So essentially, call it this, all right? Say we're recording a first look, and the groom and the bride are reading special letters to each other, or their vows, or whatever they're doing, they're talking. Typically, we'll have 2 cameras, right? Both of those cameras have onboard shotgun microphones on them. So, and then we'll have the groom mic'd up with a transmitter. We're not sending wireless audio to the camera because, quite frankly, the way our cameras are, we run A7S3, FX3, FX30s, all these really only have one input of audio. And so therefore, what am I getting at? If I'm running wireless audio to a camera or wireless audio to both cameras, then you're bypassing those onboard shotgun microphones on your cameras. So if anything happens to our groom's mic, if there's any rustling or anything that happens there, it's gonna be screwed up on the onboard transmitter and the camera audio, because those 2 tracks are the same. So why would you double down and have 2 of the same audio tracks when you could have a quality microphone on each camera and a transmitter on your groom? So therefore you have 3 sources of audio from that event, just in case. Now, I know your onboard camera mics aren't going to be the best, or they're not going to do anything that these transmitters with a lav mic plugged in will be, but I would rather, if anything goes wrong with these transmitters, still have onboard camera audio than something going wrong with your transmitter that's sending wireless audio to your camera that it's all messed up anyways. And I get the side, I understand the side. There's going to be people in this comments that are like, oh my gosh, but you have to monitor your audio. Like you gotta have the sending wireless where you can wear your headphones and see. But when it comes to a wedding, are you really going to break up that moment just because your audio is not working? No, you're not. I hope you're not. It'd be awkward if you were. Say, middle of the ceremony, groom's reading his vows. My dearest love, I love you so much. And then you're over there monitoring your audio. Hey, wait, hold up. My audio's not working. You're not going to do that. That's weird. Stop doing that if you do. Goodness gracious. But, so you're either getting good audio there, getting good audio on your camera, or getting audio from your backup recording on your DJ. So basically, the most sources of audio you can possibly have, the better for a live event, because you're not going to get a chance to redo that. You're not going to get a chance to do it over. And there's no point in recording the same audio in two separate places, because we already covered in option number 1. It doesn't save you any time syncing the footage. Now, number 3, let's move on. And this is the most important thing. If you don't get anything out of this video or you disagree with 1 and 2, everybody can agree with number 1 here. When you're working live events, when you're working especially a wedding and a wedding ceremony, there is almost always a DJ there, or a sound guy, or some sort of sound guy who is miking up the groom, miking up the officiant, and running speakers and running their audio live to the people there. Now, this has been something that I've seen in the past, that I may not have done in the past, that I do not do anymore at all. Sometimes, depending on the DJ setup, depending on your setup, depending on what wireless signal you have things that are sending in the same gigahertz frequencies, whatever they are, and there is interference. Now, interference looks a lot different to a lot of different ways, and sometimes it can be just like a slight ringing, sometimes it can kind of cancel each other out. Either way, as a videographer, the absolute last thing that you want to do is have a microphone system that is going to interfere with the DJ's live audio. Because quite frankly, if you're interfering with DJ's live audio, both your audio is getting screwed up. So why not work together and be a little bit better about this? So I have had time and time again in recent history, the last couple weddings that I've done actually, where there is something wrong with the DJ's microphone system. Whether the audio just sounds bad, it's overdriven, it cuts in and out, it's just not working. And all of that has 100% been, at least the last few times, because the DJ just has bad equipment. Now, here's why we don't run wireless audio at weddings. Last week, I was at a wedding, and this DJ looks professional, great, everything's good, super nice guy, everything's running. So the music starts for the ceremony comes down, bride gets to the front of the aisle, and the officiant starts speaking, and his microphone is just cutting in and out every probably 5 to 10 seconds, just kind of cuts in, cuts out, cuts in, cuts out. And I'm like, oh shoot, that sucks, because here you are trying to serve your client well, you've got all this nice equipment, you've got all this set up, and now it's not working. And everybody kind of knows it because the DJ's right there, and everybody's just like, yo dude, fix the mic, what's wrong? And I just see out of the peripherals of my vision, DJ coming over to me, and I knew exactly the conversation that was about to happen. He comes up and says, hey man, do you have microphones on them? And I, because I've been in this situation before, because I understand there's a lot of stress. He's trying to figure out what's wrong with his setup. He's trying to kind of cancel out any blames or anything like that. I immediately respond with, yes, we do. However, they're not sending any wireless signal. They're only recording to the packs in their pockets. So I don't have any wireless signal going on right now. To which he goes, oh, okay, cool. And goes back to his setup and is able to figure out the problem. Because I knew in that moment, if I said yes, casually, or, oh yeah, I've got mics on them and sending wireless to this camera, to that camera, got all kinds of wireless, then he would have immediately blamed or wanted to blame the interference issues of, oh, well, it's your problem. Like, you're the reason why my gear isn't working. And I never want to be in that position. So it's worth it on that end alone, because if a DJ is having issues with his live audio coming out of the speakers, through the microphones, through whatever, you as a videographer, the absolute last thing you want is for that to be your problem, or for anybody to think that is on you. And so therefore, we just don't run wireless audio at weddings. We don't run wireless audio at live events. The only time I really ever pull out this receiver right here is if I'm doing really, that's even rare because most of the time we're recording into 32-bit float anyways. But if I'm doing really simple, just direct to camera, here it is, quick edits for social media. But the main thing there is it makes your conversations with your DJs a lot easier to know, hey, we're not sending any wireless audio, here you go, because there are millions of videographers out there who have sent wireless audio, not talked about frequencies beforehand. The DJ's audio is messed up. Now the videographer's audio is probably also messed up because you're both trying to do a job and you're both just not communicating very well. So that is the biggest reason, is number 3, is it makes your communication with your DJ that much easier. It makes clarity involved in, hey, if there's a problem, it is definitely not on me, out of my hands. It can't be me because we're not sending any wireless audio. And then later on, just to finish up this story a little bit better, there was a problem with the DJ's receiver on his like the antenna on his receiver. So he went back and tightened up that screw and was able to kind of put it in position it in a correct way, and the audio worked the rest of the ceremony. But he wouldn't have come to that conclusion that quick if I was sending wireless audio, because he would have immediately gone to, oh, well, it's got to be something on your end, instead of thinking about something on his end. I don't blame him for that. It's just part of the way. Stresses are high during a ceremony, especially stresses are high if your gear's not working and you think it's great. And especially stresses are high if you're not doing a good job and there's something else that could potentially be a problem that is somebody else's fault. So I say all that to say, that is why we do not run wireless audio at weddings. Number 1, it doesn't save us any time in post because we have to link several cameras, several sources of audio, several things anyways. Number 2, I like the fact that we have backup audio on our shotgun microphones on our cameras. It's just, it always works out. It's always good to have just in case. And number 3, makes your conversations with your DJs 1,000% easier because you have removed yourself as a potential problem from any of their setup with the live audio that day. And quite frankly, didn't touch on this, bonus number 4, the 32-bit float quality that you will get out of directly recording to the transmitter is way better than the 24-bit quality you'll get from sending it wireless to your camera. The preamps are better in things like your Zoom F3. The preamps are better in things like the Wireless Pro than they ever will be out of your camera. So that's just a bonus, number 4. I don't know. A lot of people disagree with this. I love these microphones. And honestly, like I started with the Wireless Go 2, then we moved up to the Wireless Pro. And technically, the way that our workflows work, I probably should be working with something like a Tascam DR10L Pro, but these things are just so darn tiny. And I love how tiny they are. I love how they charge with USB-C. I love how they come with this charging case. And honestly, I love the built-in internal memory, and I love that when you pull them out of the case, they immediately start recording. So until a company like Zoom or Tascam or Rode comes out with just a dedicated recorder that you can plug a lav mic into, that charges USB-C, that just immediately starts recording when you turn it on, that's incredibly tiny, I'll probably always stick to the Rode and just not be using the receiver. So there you have it. That's why. Here it is. If you disagree, I read every comment, I reply to every comment, and I would love to continue this conversation in the comments because it's YouTube, and I love hearing from you guys and building community out of this. So if you learned anything today, drop a comment below. I'll see you guys in the comment section. Bye-bye.